Hello everyone. Today we are going to see about lactic starter culture. In the lactic starter culture, the lactic acid bacteria is used to produce lactic acid by consuming a sugar. These are the example of some fermented products: yogurt, cheese, sauerkraut, dahi. There are many classification in the lactic starter culture. The first one is based on the temperature. It has two types. The first one is mesophilic culture, the next one is thermophilic culture. In mesophilic culture, the lactic acid bacteria grow at the moderate temperature like 20 to 45 degrees Celsius. Cheese is the example for the mesophilic culture fermented product. The next one is thermophilic culture. In the thermophilic culture, the lactic acid bacteria grow above 45 degrees Celsius. Yogurt is the example for the thermophilic culture fermented product. The next classification is based on the fermentation. It also has two types. The first one is homofermentative culture. The next one is heterofermentative culture. In the homofermentative culture, it produces the lactic acid as a primary fermentation product. Example, Lactococcus lactis. The next one is heterofermentative culture. In it, the lactic acid bacteria produce lactic acid, ethanol and carbon dioxide as the fermentation product. Example, Euchrostrac mesenteroids. The next classification is based on the application. It has three types: dairy culture, meat culture, vegetable culture. In dairy culture, the milk and milk products are produced. Lactococcus lactis is used. In meat culture, the meat products are produced. Lactobacillus plantarum is used. In vegetable culture, vegetable products are produced. The Euchrostrac mesenteroids is used. The next classification is based on the strains. It also has three types. The first one is single strain culture. The next one is multiple strain culture, mixed strain culture. In single strain culture, only single strain is produced from the single species. In the multiple strain culture, the multiple strains are produced from the single species. In the mixed strain culture, the different strains are produced from the different species. The next classification is based on the preservation method. It has the four types: liquid, freeze dried, concentrated, freeze dried, concentrated, frozen. The next classification is based on the preservation method: liquid, freeze dried, concentration, freeze dried, concentrated, frozen. In liquid culture, preserve growth medium like milk for short time use. In freeze dried, the water is removed from the sublimation method. In the concentrated frozen, the starters are stored at the very low temperature like minus 40 degrees Celsius to minus 80 degrees Celsius. The next classification is based on the inoculation method. It has two types: bulk starter, direct pet set. In bulk starter culture, a small amount of culture is added to the media like milk. The lactic acid bacteria grow large quantity like bulk starter culture. The next one is direct pet set. In its, freeze dried bacterial culture added to the milk and grows in the suitable temperature. The next one is activity of starter culture. In the lactic acid bacteria grow in the lactose like sugar and produce lactic acid and other fermented products. During the fermentation, the lactic acid bacteria lowers its pH and change the characteristics like sour taste and texture modification and flavor development. And also it enhances the overall taste and aroma of the final product. The next one is preservation. During the growth of lactic acid bacteria, it lowering the pH and producing the antimicrobial compounds. The lactic acid bacteria inhibit the growth of spoilage bacteria and pathogens and help to preserve food. The next one is texture modification. The lactic acid bacteria can influence the texture modified during the production of exopolysaccharides. The next one is purity test. The test is used to detect the designed microorganisms and free from contaminants. The next one is activity test. It is used to assess the ability to starter culture to produce the acid. The next one is factors affecting starter culture activity. There are many factors which are affect the starter culture activity. These are temperature, pH, nutrient availability, inhibitory substances, strain variability. There are many defects in its defects of lactic starter culture. The first one is flavor defects. It enhances malty taste, metallic flavor and bitterness. The next one is body and texture defect. It weak the body, hard and lumpy and ropiness in the fermented food product. The next one is contributing factors. Contamination, poorly clean equipment, storage condition, these also caused the damage in the fermented products. The next one is fermented milk products, dahi, yogurt, astrophilus milk. These are the example for the fermented milk products. The first one is yogurt. Yogurt is a coagulate milk product obtained by lactic acid fermentation of milk through the action of Staphylococcus aureus without addition of whole milk powder or skimmed milk powder. Uses: it enhances the immunity development, and also it cures the arthritis and help to solve the gastrointestinal conditions, constipation and diarrhea. The next one is dahi. It is known as an Indian curd, a semi-solid protein obtained from the pasteurized milk by souring using harmless lactic acid bacteria. Uses: it it aids the digestive system and responsible for the stronger bone and teeth. It rejuvenated the skin and good for scalp and hair. The next one is astrophilus milk. It is sour milk product and fermented under condition that flavor the growth and development of Lactobacillus astrophilus. Uses: it relieves from various gastrointestinal disorder and possible to improvement in immune status and lower the proliferation of cancer cells and possible lowering of blood cholesterol. Thank you.